The fourth round of Foreign Office consultations between India and Ethiopia were held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It was co-chaired by Joint Secretary East and Southern Africa, Ministry of External Affairs Puneet R. Kundal, and Ambassador Dr. Gebeyahu Ganga, Director General for the Middle East, Asia and Pacific Countries Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ethiopia. During the consultation, both sides reviewed the entire spectrum of bilateral relations, including political engagements, trade and economic matters, development partnership projects, and cooperation in higher education. They also agreed to work to expand engagement in fields of defense, science and technology, education, agriculture, and allied sectors, and civil aviation. India and Ethiopia have also agreed to continue high level political exchanges and regular meetings of the joint institutional mechanisms to keep the relationship vibrant and mutually beneficial. The next round of consultations will be held in New Delhi. The Shastra Ramanuja Prize for 2022 will be awarded to Yung King Tang, assistant professor with the University of California, Berkeley, USA. The award constituted by the Shanmuga Arts, Science, Technology and Research Academy, Shastra, in 2005 with a cash prize of $10,000 is presented annually to individuals aged 32 and below who made outstanding contribution in the field of mathematics influenced by Srinivasa Ramanujan in a broad sense. A release by Krishna Swami Aladi, chair of Shastra Ramanujan Prize Committee, said, Ms. Yung King's works display a remarkable contribution of sophisticated techniques in which the arithmetic and geometry of modular curves and of Shimura varieties play a central role, and her results and method are bound to have major impact on future research in this area. It said, Tang's most recent joint work with Frank Caligari and Vasilin Dimitrov on modular equation is of great significance and also has ties with Ramanujan's own work, praising Ms. Yung King as one of the deepest and most creative mathematicians of her age. It said, her wide-ranging contributions are bound to have impact in the decades ahead. Ms. Yung King, born in China, completed her BSc in Peking University in 2011, following which she went to Harvard University for higher studies. She completed her PhD in 2016 at Harvard under the supervision of Markison. After stints in Princeton University as a postdoctoral fellow, instructor, and assistant professor, she joined UC Berkeley in July 22 as assistant professor. A fully functional tap water connection is defined as a household getting at least 55 liters per capita per day of potable water all through the year. Close to 3/4 of households received water all 7 days a week and 8% just once a week. On an average, households got water for 3 hours every day, and 80% reported that their daily requirements of water were being met by the tap connections. The water quality in some households was tested. It revealed that 95% of households to have within acceptable limits of pH values. Over 90% of village level institutions were getting potable water. Over half, 57% of the sampled households reported purifying water before drinking. However, the report mentions a concerning problem of chlorine contamination. Though 93% of the samples were reportedly free of bacteriological contamination, most of the Anganwadi centers and schools had higher than the permissible range of residual chlorine and indicated inappropriate local dosing. Thus, there is a need to monitor the correct dosing of chlorine in the pipe water supply system, the report notes. Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Goa, and Puducherry, reported more than 80% of households with fully functional connections, while fewer than half the households in Rajasthan, Kerala, Manipur, Tripura, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, and Sikkim had such connections. Prime Minister's scheme for mentoring young authors Yuva 2.0 was launched on 2nd October to promote reading, writing and book culture in the country. In the view of the significant impact of the first edition of Yuva with large-scale participation from young and budding authors in 22 different Indian languages and English, Yuva 2.0 has been launched. Education Ministry said the launch of Yuva 2.0, young, upcoming and versatile authors, is in tune with the Prime Minister's vision to encourage the youth to understand and appreciate India's democracy. It will help to develop a stream of writers who can write on a spectrum of subjects to promote the Indian heritage, culture and knowledge system. The ministry said a total of 75 authors will be selected through an all India contest to be conducted through www.mygov.in from 2nd October to 30th November this year. The winners will be announced on 28th February next year. The young authors will be trained by eminent authors and mentors from 1st March to 31st August 2023. A task force set up the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has prepared a final report of its recommendations to regulate the online gaming industry in India. The task force has proposed the creation of a central regulatory body for the sector, clearly define what games of skill and chances are, and bringing online gaming under the purview of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 recommendations of the task force. A central level law for online gaming should apply to real money and free games of skill, including esports, online fantasy sports contests, and card games, etc. Casual games with no real money element in the form of stakes may be kept outside the scope of such rules unless they have a high number of users in India. Creating a regulatory body which will determine what qualifies as a game of skill or chance and accordingly certify different gaming formats and seek compliance, etc. A three-tier dispute resolution mechanism similar to that prescribed under the Information Technology Rules 2021 for online streaming services. Any online gaming platform, domestic or foreign, offering real money online games to Indian users will need to be a legal entity incorporated under Indian law. Online gaming so far has been a state subject, but state governments find it extremely difficult to enforce certain rules like geo-blocking certain apps or websites within the territory of their state. And also, rules passed in one state are not applicable in another, which has caused inconsistency. State governments also do not have enough blocking powers like the center to issue blocking orders for offshore betting sites. The revenue of Indian mobile gaming industry is expected to exceed $1.5 billion in 2022 and is estimated to reach $5 billion in 2025. The industry in the country grew at a CAGR of 38% between 2017 and 20, as opposed to 8% in China and 10% in US. Indian Air Force Day is celebrated on October 8 every year. The day aims to pay a tribute to the Air Force of India and acknowledge their contribution for a successful nation. As a part of 19th anniversary celebration, nearly 80 military aircraft and helicopters participated in the Air Force Day flypast on October 8 at the Sukna Lake Complex, Chandigarh. It is for the first time that the IAF decided to hold its annual Air Force Day parade and fly past outside the Delhi NCR. It was created to support the British Royal Air Force, particularly against Japan in World War II. The IAF was used to attack Japanese bases in Burma in order to stop the Japanese army's advance towards India. King George VI gave IAF's accomplishments the prefix Royal in 1945. This honorific title was dropped in 1950 when India became a republic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the IAS officers of the 2020 batch in concluding section of the Assistant Secretary Program 2022 in New Delhi on 6th October. He said that the officers have a key role in ensuring that the target of a developed India is achieved during the Amrit Kal. Mr. Modi said that the officers got the opportunity to serve the country during the Amrit Kal and help realize the Panch Pran. He highlighted the significance of out of the box thinking and adopting a holistic approach in their endeavors. The Prime Minister cited the example of PM Gedi Shakti Master Plan for showcasing the significance of a holistic approach. Mr. Modi discussed the importance of innovation and how it has become a collective effort and part of the work culture in the country. He talked about the Startup India scheme and how the number of startups in the country has witnessed a significant jump in the last few years. The PM mentioned how the focus of governance has shifted outside Delhi to all regions of the country. He gave examples of important schemes now being started from places outside Delhi. Prime Minister asked the officers to focus on one district, one product and explore the opportunities of exporting products of their district. He also asked the officers to prepare their action plan for the aspirational districts program. Vyom Mitra, the humanoid designed and developed by ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, to fly abroad unmanned test missions ahead of Gaganyaan human space flight mission, is undergoing pre-flight ground test at ISRO Inertia Systems Unit. Over the past few months, IISU has successfully integrated it with a computer brain which enables it to read control panels abroad, the unmanned test flights, and communicate with ISRO ground stations, IISU Director Sam Dayala Dev told. ISRO and IISU were in news when they unveiled Vyom Mitra, the female robot astronaut, in 2020. Vyom Mitra is a half humanoid, lacking lower limbs. IISU was responsible for the design, development, and integration of the robot, while sister ISRO sender Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Tumpa developed its fingers. The AI-enabled robot is designed to fly aboard a rocket, withstanding vibrations and shock during the flight. The IISU director said it has been designed to resemble a human with facial expressions and speech and sight capabilities. He said it has a certain level of intelligence. What we intend is that it should operate and read display panels and communicate back to us using its own voice, he said. Vyom Mitra will fly abroad, the first unmanned test flight ahead of crewed Gaganyaan flight expected in 2024. The United Nations peacekeeping chief is undertaking a visit to India, among the largest troop contributing countries for its operations. Under Secretary General for Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix will visit India, United Arab Emirates, Pakistan and Japan. The multi-nation trip starts Thursday and will continue until October 15. Stephen Dujarric, the spokesman for UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, told reporters Wednesday that in New Delhi, Mr. Lakwa will participate in two-day meeting organized by Challenges Forum, which brings together leading policymakers, practitioners, and academics on key issues linked to peace operations. The head of the UN peacekeeping will then travel to Abu Dhabi, Islamabad, and Tokyo. Mr. Dujarric said the purpose of Mr. Lakwa's visit is to thank the countries for their contributions and support to UN peacekeeping, as well as to update them on progress in enhancing effectiveness of peacekeeping. During his trip, Mr. Lakwa will meet senior government officials. CAF 22 will be co hosted by organizations Indian partner, the United Service Institution of India, under overarching theme Future of Peace Operations. The three sub themes for the forum are place for preventive deployment in diplomacy, protection of civilians in peace operations, and protecting the protectors. India is one of the largest troop and police contributing countries to UN peacekeeping missions, and more than 5,700 Indian peacekeepers are deployed in 9 out of 12 UN peacekeeping missions at present.